Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Prestin Sexton podcast, episode 12.
Mostly gentlemen. Just kidding.
Actually, I think you'd be surprised looking at the Spotify splits.
Really? We have a female audience?
Yeah, there was a time when it was like 60-40 females in the lead.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked looking at that too.
I was doing some conducting business to get our podcast up.
But now it's kind of, flipped now. Now it's like a 50-60 bigger male audience. But we have a female audience, Gabe, surprisingly.
We have a female audience member. We have one member. Yeah, that's a little shocking. Those numbers are much higher than I anticipated.
Yeah, me too. So don't feel bad.
Oh, I don't feel bad. Life's looking up for us. Psych.
You know what kind of audience we don't have, though?
Corporate ones?
The over 70 audience.
Yeah, I got to do some work on that.
Gabe, you got to go to the nursing home and be like, do some advertising.
I'm like, I have a podcast. Like, what is a podcast? I'm like, it's a thing. It's like radio, but kind of.
It's like radio, but it's a bunch of idiots doing it now.
Yeah, like it's a bunch of college people doing it in their dorms. They're like, back in my day, we just did weed. We just smoked the reefer. And then they're like, Gabriel, give us the podcast. Is it about cinema?
Okay, somehow we managed to get off topic on the frickin' internet.
Shocker.
This is the episode. Or no, not the episode. This is the podcast. We should just call it Getting Off Topic.
It's just us talking about nursing homes and what derogatory term you think is worse.
All right, Gabe, so what's today's episode about?
Today, I think we usually do a lot of rankings, but today I feel like we should just launch in a conversation. And today's main question is, what do movies mean to you? Because I think that's such a broad topic.
All right, Gabe. Well, what do movies mean to you?
Well, they mean a lot to me. To be honest, when I was a kid, we were really poor, but going to the movie theater, it was really cheap to go. So you go see a movie for like $2 or whatever.
Wait, you mean there was a time when popcorn wasn't like $12?
We didn't get any popcorn. We weren't that rich. We could go to the movies. We could never buy any concessions, but believe it or not, there used to be a theater at the Mariner here, and it was like a second-run theater. So when all the other ones in Duluth, which was expensive at the time, they would come here, and then you could buy a ticket for like $2 or whatever. So that's what we did. We'd always go there. I saw the Avengers in that theater. I saw The Life of Pi, one of my favorite movies. But it's, to me, going there is a lot of like good childhood memories and a lot of good times. At least in the hot summer days, you go in the movie theater, be goddamn freezing cold, colder than a witch's tit in there.
So when you say like you didn't get food there, so was your dad like the one like, oh, we're not paying for any food there, we're just gonna sneak it in?
It was both.
Why do I see your dad just being like, all right, Caleb, all right, Gabe, you're gonna put this in your jacket and you're not gonna say shit.
That brings up a perfect instance. We went and saw Avatar, and I remember we had to stuff a water bottle in our jackets, like a metal one, and we had to stuff candy bars in there. And I remember it melted in my pocket. I was like trying to open it in the theater. We went and saw Avatar for the first time. I'm like, what is this movie? I was very confused.
Just blue people?
I liked it. I liked it then. Don't like it now, but yeah, to me, like a movie now, I feel like is our generation's paintings, like from 100 years ago.
And like at an art standpoint type thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like 50 years ago, it was the 70s, 80s. I think music was a little more like the art of the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whereas I think movies now you can certainly make the claim that there's different types of art and therefore different types of movies, but I think they are as close to being paintings as we have at all.
It's just a better form of paintings.
Like, here's a painting that interacts. Have fun. Go crazy. Go quessy.
Here's a painting that's like, what is like 2 hours long. It takes you 2 hours to completely look at it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this could be enjoyable. This could not be enjoyable. We will see. But in a way, like, movies have the same aspects of paintings that they mean different things to different people. And to me, like, if I sit and watch a movie with you, like one of my personal favorite movies, and I'm like, this is like a piece of me I'm sharing with you. Like, you have to enjoy it.
And if you don't like it, we can't be friends anymore.
Like, sorry, not gonna work.
So do you have like any certain movies like that? Like, you're excited to show someone, and if they don't like it, you're like, well, I don't like it.
WTF. I'm like, WTF,
like,
man.
Well, you're wrong.
You're like, well, opinions can't be wrong. I'm like, well, yours is somehow. Yeah, I would say like Logan is up there of like, yeah, this is a movie where I've always felt like it was a piece of me. But yeah, to me, it just, if you don't like it, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you.
Yeah, I remember seeing Logan in theaters, and that was mental.
Yeah, I never went and saw it in the theater. I bought it on DVD. I bought it for myself. Yeah, it was 2017. There's that. Is there any movies like that for you where you're like, you gotta like it?
Yeah, Empire.
Empire Strikes. I like The Empire Strikes Back. It's not my favorite.
Ferris Bueller.
That's one of mine. That's my comfort movie.
What's another one? Oh, Back to the Future Part 2.
I don't like Back to the Future. You know this. This is one of my hotter takes.
I can't believe you. I just can't believe
it's
like
not my thing. I just don't care for it. I just don't.
The Last Crusade.
I like The Last Crusade. Not my favorite Indiana Jones.
Return of the King.
I haven't seen Lord of the Rings in a long time. Not that I haven't seen it, but I just haven't seen it in a long time.
I'm disappointed in you, my young Padawan.
No, join the club. It's a large club. Well, even now, like, think of how like movies have really brought us together and doing the podcast. And
I mean, shit, movies must mean something to us because we have a film podcast.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't say I'm quite the expert, but I've seen a lot of movies, and we certainly have opinions. Maybe not the right opinions, but
some of them are very hot takes. Some of them I'd say are pretty popular for the most part.
Yeah, like we've talked about that Marvel movies are today's Westerns, that at some point they're just going to fade away, and that's going to be unfortunate because it's like, well, that's...
I respectably disagree.
Well, see, that's where we butt heads. But yeah, I think movies to me they're an experience. They're something that, like, you could, honestly, if you wanted, you could text 4 of your best friends and be like, you know what? Screw it. You guys want to watch a movie, have some pizza? And they're like, yeah.
They'd be like, first, is the pizza free?
You're like, is it free? You're like, I will not come if it's not free. Like, yeah, it's free, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's like what movies have meant to me. Like, they definitely mean a lot more to me now than they did, like, let's say, like 5 years ago. Because, like, yeah, growing up, we watched movies. We went to the movie theaters. Like, one thing I always remember is, like, it'd be like, my dad's working. It's a nice day outside. So my mom would be like, yo, let's just go to a movie at Ada. Like, we're all bored. Let's just go. It's, like, lit, sweet. I remember getting, like, the little popcorn kids boxes, you know.
Yeah, did you get, like, the little soda, too?
Yeah, with, like, the little soda. Yeah. You got candy.
Yep.
And then you got a little thing of popcorn in the middle. Remember, we'd get one of those and we'd just go watch whatever random-ass movie was in the theaters that day. Because, like, in the movie theater we went to, they showed one singular movie.
Oh, that was it. That was the movie.
Yeah, so it's not like you go to, like, the Duluth Cinema and you got
choices.
12 different movies to watch.
Yeah.
This one it was only one screen. It was just a small-town movie theater, so you would just go to whatever random movie was in that day.
That's crazy.
Of course, you'd, like, time it out, like, oh, hey, what movie's playing in Ada this week? And it's like, some random one, and you're like, okay, we're not going this week. But if it was like something cool, like Cars is in theaters this week, of course we were gonna go.
Yeah, you had to go see Cars. I can remember they would have like the kids. It would be like the kids movie of the week, and so you go to the theater down here. There used to be one out in East End that I'll get into this, but they had like a kids movie of the week, and it was like $3 for a ticket, and you get a popcorn, a soda, and a candy for a kid. And it would be like Shrek would play, or like Marmaduke was one I remember. Not a great movie, but I remember going to see it.
We had Marmaduke on DVD. I don't know why.
You're like, hey, this was not a quality purchase. I hope you realize this.
And to be honest, I don't think we purchased it.
Really?
Wait, no. We did. I think I remember the story now. Basically, like, our gas station used to do movie rentals.
Yeah.
And the movie to buy it was like $5, and the movie to buy it was $5, and the movie to rent it was $3. So I think we just bought it.
You're like, this is a great movie. I hope I get to watch this all the time. Marmaduke's terrible. I hate that goddamn movie. Stupid goddamn movie.
Remember the Garfield movie?
Dude, I have both of those on DVD. I loved those movies when I was a kid. Garfield.
I rewatched those like during the pandemic.
They're terrible.
It's like an acid trip almost.
Dude, even when I was a kid, I'm like, what is going... I'm like, who is this mouse? And then you have Nermal, and... Oh, my Garfield is Bill Murray. Stupid goddamn Odie. Screw Odie.
And then kind of back to, like, what movies mean to me. Like, I've always been watching movies. I've always been big into them. But I didn't, like, start watching them, like, religiously up until, like, the pandemic. Because I was here, we were all online classes, but I was still living on campus for some reason.
Yeah.
And so we weren't, like, allowed to, like, leave, all that kind of stuff. We had to just basically stay in our dorms 24/7. It was kind of a buzzkill. So it's like, what are we going to do? Well, you can only play a video game for so long.
Yeah.
Like, I could only replay Skyrim for so long.
Yeah, and you've replayed Skyrim a lot.
And I eventually just started like, hey, I'm just going to start watching just a crap ton of, like, movies I wouldn't normally watch. So I remember I was, like, in, like, a weekend, I watched, like, Les Miserables, or however you...
Les Mis.
Les Mis.
I took, like, 2 days of French and then dropped it, so that makes me better than you.
I'd say, like, I watched...
Les Miserables.
I was like, yo, Greatest Showman, it has, I like Les Mis, so, like, hey, I'm gonna watch The Greatest Showman because, hey, it's Huey.
It's my boy, Huge Jackman.
I just watched movies I didn't normally watch, and when I actually kind of enjoyed them, I just kept, like... I'm not kidding you. I probably watched like 1 or 2 movies a day during the pandemic.
There was nothing to do.
Yeah, there was legit nothing to do besides work on your homework, and I'd basically finish that right away because
they didn't know how to do online.
Besides one class, like all the instructors were like, "Well, we don't want to do this online stuff either, so we're just gonna make it like easier."
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. I didn't have a Zoom. I never went to a Zoom meeting until September of 2020. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
And then, when I went home, like, right when this kind of pandemic stuff started, it's like, well, hey, I'm just going to watch movies also because, like, nothing else to do.
Yeah, I can remember... I remember watching Brother Bear during the pandemic. I don't even know why I watched that, what went through my mind, but I remember watching it.
And that was right when I started really watching movies, I was like, hey, I'm going to start an IMDb account, where you can rate movies.
Yeah.
I like to keep it to, like, I know if I've seen it or not, like what my original ranking was. And as of right now, Preston is at 365 rankings.
Wow. One for each day of the year. That's impressive. I think that should be a topic at some point we talk about on our podcast of what movies did we watch during the pandemic, like when it first hit. I
could tell you, I watched 2 musicals.
Okay.
I watched The Marriage Story.
I remember watching it with my mom.
I was like, Adam Driver in Scarlett Johansson. This must be pretty good. Yeah, it was.
It was pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really start watching Marvel movies till after I graduated.
See, I've always been I've been on it because it was kind of neat in a dumb way, but I always remember Endgame was in May of my senior year, so I'm like, this is my Endgame. I'm like, this is it.
See, now, like, I didn't really care about Endgame when it came out, like, because like I didn't watch Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't watch them. Like,
yeah, right.
The only Marvel movie I watched up to that point was I remember watching Iron Man 1 and 2 when they like first came out.
Yeah.
And I remember liking them, but it's like we just never watched any of them. And then it was like, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like,
yeah, it was kind of hard.
I watched Guardians of the Galaxy not long after it came out. Like I didn't watch it in theaters, but like when it was on streaming services and stuff like that, I did. But then I was like, you know what? There's like some Disney movies run, or some of those Marvel movies were on Netflix. So I'm like, I'm gonna watch the Avengers. I know I liked Iron Man, so why wouldn't I like the Avengers? I watched the Avengers and like I was like, okay, I need to watch all of these movies now.
They're really good.
25 movies later.
And so it did. And so it happened. Now you're converted. You're a full-on convert. Yeah. Trying to think of.
And here I am talking about Marvel theories on a podcast.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. I think that's why, like, movies, to me, a good chunk of that is the fact you can, no matter who you are or where you've been, you have an opinion on a movie. Yeah. Or you have a opinion on movies, you know?
And it's also another good thing about movies. You can tell what a person is like by just seeing what like their 5 favorite movies are.
You can. I think you can, honestly.
Like, if you're one of your 5 favorite
film
movies
bro
is the Wolf of Wall Street, I don't trust you. I wouldn't trust you.
The Wolf of Wall Street and American Psycho. You're like, hey, Meredith, pull out of my stocks out of fart bucks and put them all into booba.
It's like, yeah, if those 2 are in your top 5 favorite movies of all time, I'm not allowing you to date my future daughter.
No, film bros are the worst. They're like, yeah, I like the Joker because I relate to the Joker. I'm like, what? What?
What?
Gay? That is Quessy. Quessy.
Yeah, if like your 5 favorite movies are all from the same movie genre.
They just list 5 Marvel movies. I'd be a little, skeptical. A little classic Midwest
like Marvel,
skepticism.
But what?
Like, I like it too. They're always good movies. I have a few that are like in my favorite movies, but I wouldn't say like, oh, these are all my favorites.
It's like, if your top 5 favorite, if you have like 3 movies, 3 romance movies in your top 5, it's like, I get it, you're lonely.
Like, I get it. You know, that was, speaking, you're talking about Les Mis. I was going to watch Moulin Rouge with Ewan McGregor and I think Nicole Kidman. It's a musical. I'm a big Ewan McGregor fan.
I think all dudes are.
Dude, if you have the Apple TV, you have to watch Long Way Round.
See, I don't have Apple TV anymore. I watched Ted Lasso, and I was like, there's really nothing else on here, so I'm going to cancel it and get HBO Max.
It's not a movie, but Long Way Round and like The Long Way Down. It's Ewan McGregor and his friend Charlie, and they just go all the way around the world on motorcycles. I don't even like motorcycles, but that was one thing. Like, I've had 2 girlfriends in my life. I made them watch that with me. I made them watch that. I don't know if they liked it, but that's why I'm single. Like, evidently they didn't.
They must not have.
Like, they're like, this is so cool. I'm like, yeah, isn't it so awesome? Like, isn't this awesome?
It's like me showing my girlfriend's Empire for the first time. Isn't this awesome? Sure.
You're like, yeah. And they're like, Urgh. It's me making them watch the prequels. I'm like, people don't get it. I'm like, the dialogue's not good, but it's a good story. They're like, this is a bad movie. I'm like, how dare you?
It's a great series that shows how democracy falls.
I'm like, don't you get it? This is how it would happen. This is how it would happen. And I'm like, they're like, what's your theory? I'm like, theories. And then, you ever seen the picture of Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie has like the theories on like the cork board, and he's on like no days of sleep.
Yeah.
That would be me. That's me. That's what movies mean to me. Verbal essay.
You're trying to describe the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, that's
and then the Mandalorian has a little green friend, but he's not related to Yoda in any way.
But they don't know what his species is. I hated when they said that, when they're like, well, it's not Baby Yoda, but they're like, he's not related to him. It's like, well, what do you want to call this thing in the first season?
That's why I was like, it's not Baby Yoda.
It's Grogu.
It's
the child. Yeah.
Well, piss off. I'm just going to call it Baby Yoda. And now I'm like, I'll call it Grogu now because they actually have a name now.
Dude, when I was a kid, I was really into Star Wars. And that was like one thing. My dad was always working, so we had these little lightsabers. Do you remember them? And you would push the button down, and you go whoop, and they would come out. We used to have lightsaber fights.
My parents never let me get those.
Boo, boo. Preston parents, you stupid for that one.
You know they listen to this podcast, right?
Hey, this is just the I'm stammering. Like, you made me nervous. But I was really into Star Wars, and it was always kind of fun. And this is how it all connects to the Beacon Theater that I mentioned. So, my dad, when he was a kid, when he was 5 years old, we'll wait for Sicky to cough. That's you.
Oh, piss off.
Maybe I will. But Star Wars came out in 1977. He was born in 72. There's the Beacon Theater.
Old. I'm just kidding.
He's about to be 50. So he's going to be 50 in the same week I turned 21. So party at my house. Like, won't remember anything from March 4th through about March 9th. But he was out in East End, if you know where the Super One is.
Yeah.
Right at that Hardware Hank was the Beacon Theater. Or at least that's what he told me. And that's where he went and saw Star Wars. Well, Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. So I was 4, and that was when I first saw like a Star Wars. I'd always seen them on VHS, but that was the first time I'd ever seen one in the theater. So like Star Wars was always something that we could, like, even as a kid, I could just sit there and talk about.
So your Revenge of the Sith was my Force Awakens.
Yeah, but I was 4.
Yeah, I was like 14.
Well, that's the thing. That's what movies do. And when you think about that, of how we've had very different, and I think Star Wars, like I said, is its own thing.
It's like, I always liked Star Wars from when I was a kid, but it was like I was 3 or 4 when like Revenge of the Sith came out.
Yeah.
And my parents were into Star Wars, so it's like we weren't gonna go watch it in theaters. Well, basically, I was always like a fan, like, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, those type of movies. I had like all the Lego. I had like the Lego sets for Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Well, really the first movie to come out when I was a Star Wars fan for like Star Wars movies was The Force Awakens. I remember watching like the trailer like 30 times.
Oh my God.
I was like, huh, what could this movie be about?
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen? And I remember being super excited for it. We went to get premiere tickets for it. I remember seeing that shit in theaters. Oh, it was mind-boggling. I remember being like, my mind was completely blown watching it. And like to this day, I will say Star Wars: The Force Awakens is great. It's
pretty good. It's a great opener. It's a great opener.
It's a great start for a Star Wars movie. It's definitely the best opening. I'd say probably one of the better opening movies in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I still like The Force or A New Hope a little bit better.
It's very linear.
They're not that far apart.
No, and that's like, you think about A New Hope. It's a very linear. Like, you always talk about like Indiana Jones is a very linear movie. It's the same thing with A New Hope of like, yeah, it goes right through, bing, 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 but it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I remember that was one thing my dad told me when he went and saw it. He's like, I was so confused, but I knew I loved it. He's like, I didn't understand if the stormtroopers were droids or like if Darth Vader was a droid or what the hell the deal was. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. What
was his reaction to Darth Vader being Luke's father?
That is a question I've never had answered, honestly. I've never asked him that.
What?
I'm very curious.
You need to call your dad right now. I'm just kidding.
Get him on the phone. Like he's probably sleeping, more than likely. But yeah, I just remember that. I remember him telling me about when he first heard the sonic charges, or seismic charges, I should say, in Attack of the Clones. And he's like, yeah, it just rocked the whole theater. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it's Star Wars is something, again, we can almost do a whole podcast about what does Star Wars mean to you.
We could do like a 6-hour Star Wars podcast.
We should. Like marathon, we could have random guests drop by. Like, hey, who wants to come by?
So what other movies, like, growing up, like, since we're on the topic of, like, what movies mean to you, like, what movies when you were growing up were, like, the ones your parents, like, made you watch? Because it's like the one, like, they're the ones your parents love, like how when we were like, yeah, when we're gonna show our friends a movie, you better like it. What were those movies for your parents to you? Because like I know for me, my dad's was Top Gun.
Yeah.
I don't know why. When you talk to any guy in their 30s or 40s,
love Top Gun,
who were alive when Top Gun came out, like
they're
all obsessed with it.
I've always kind of thought, I'm like, there might be a little. The movie's a little. You know, if you know what I'm saying. Little
what?
Like fingernail painting emoji. It's a little. You know, you're not getting this, are you? You just want to make me say it.
You're just making hand signals. I don't know what to.
Limp wrist. What the frick
does that mean?
It's a little gay. It's a gay little movie.
My dad's gonna hate you.
Dude, I think I kind of always thought, I'm like, yeah, it's a little gay. Not like full on gay. It's a little gay.
Okay, I just want to hear you explain yourself on this one.
I don't know. It's just something about like it's in the same
Two dudes
vein.
in a cockpit. I'm just kidding.
In a cockpit, and they're slapping each other's ass on the beach while they're wearing not a lot of clothes. I don't know. I've always kind of thought, like, this movie's a little
Well, you
gay.
know why they call it a cockpit. I'm just kidding.
Classic. You're like Top Gun. Like, that could be a porno. Yeah, I remember.
My dad's probably just shaking his head right now.
Yeah, he probably is. And I'm sorry, Mr. DeVille, but I've always thought that. I'm trying to think. Top Gun for you. I remember my parents making me watch. I want to say True Grit, like any John Wayne movie I had to watch as a kid. Big Jake had an iconic line that was, "My fault, your fault, nobody's fault. I'm gonna blow your goddamn head off." I'm like, outstanding quote.
And then another one for my dad is like, he like a couple of them was like Wayne's World.
I remember
my parents both were like huge SNL fans in like the 80s.
Okay,
90s.
yeah.
So like they loved Wayne's World. So I remember like every time it was like family movie night, my dad would search Wayne's World into like the Roku machine to see if there are any if it's out on any streaming services. And of course they never were. Until like
I don't even know what they're on now.
It was like one random day where it was just on.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, my dad's like, okay, we're watching Wayne's World. And same for Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, you know what?
Like
Austin Powers.
Like my dad made me watch Dumb and Dumber, and it was funny because I was like 13-year-old Preston thought Dumb and Dumber was like the funniest shit.
I like Dumb and Dumber. I don't love Dumb and Dumber. I remember my dad made me watch Austin Powers. I thought that shit was hilarious. One of my best friends, Mackenzie Leto, out in Eau Claire, we used to watch Austin Powers. We used to talk about Austin Powers all the time. I'm trying to think of another one. Did you ever watch oh shit, I had it in my mind and now I completely forgot what I was going to say. He went completely the other way. Pretty good Obi-Wan right there. But oh hell. Star Trek. We watched all of Star Trek when I was a kid.
those are like that's a show my dad always seemed to be watching was Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
That and MASH. Like those are two shows I just always remember my dad watching for some reason.
It's
in that 70s show.
It was pretty good. I liked. Oh, I know. I was gonna say. I remember my same friend Mackenzie made me watch Wayne's World. She's like, "You need to watch it." I was in 4th grade. It's like, I need to watch this, and I loved it. That was hilarious.
Did your mom ever make you watch any movies? Because I know my mom always made me watch, like, let's say, like, the Charlie Brown movies, A Christmas Story. Like, she made us watch A Christmas Story every year. And then around Halloween time, it was always Hocus Pocus. Because my mom's obsessed with Hocus Pocus.
I just watched Hocus Pocus for the first time last year. Really liked it. My mom is very go with the flow. She's like, I will watch this movie just because you guys are watching it.
That's kind of the same with my mom. Like, she has, like, the movies she likes.
Yeah.
But she's always like, nah, I just always catered to what you guys wanted to watch.
What classic moms. I kind of feel bad for my mom because there's no other woman in the house.
I don't, because I had wonderful taste.
I could see as a woman. My mom, she always made us watch The Eyewitness. There's like a bunch of them on VHS at the public library. You're like, boom, 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 ba-na-na-na.
Speaking about the library,
boom, boom, boom.
You know what I always remember from elementary school?
What?
So you could rent out the old VHSs for the Magic School Bus.
Oh, really?
So like, it was like, you can't rent one out every week. It's like you can only rent it out so often.
Yeah.
And I just remember we like just renting out the Magic School Bus just to watch them.
You're like, Miss Frizzle.
It's like, oh, hey, it's a movie.
You was simping.
Because it's like we'd go to the library every week and rent, books. And it's like, books?
Yeah.
Why do we want books?
Stupid books.
There's a freaking movie over there. Let's watch it. That, and of course, the book with a boob in it would always be checked out by someone. Titty! That's another random fact, a random thing I just always remember was people, like kids in my grade, being obsessed with the health book because there were boobs in it.
Yeah, I used to, this might sound dumb, I used to look at like butts. It'd be the health book and I'd be like, nice butt. I'd be like, oh, and I'd look at like the colon and I'd be like, that makes poop. Or like some shit like that. I'd be like, yep, that makes the poop.
Or just going in the dictionary and checking up like the word penis.
They're like, it means penis. You'd be like, ah. Yeah.
That and Where's Waldo? That was another book we always rented out.
I Spy. Do you have I Spy?
We did Waldo.
Screw Waldo. We had I Spy. I Spy is for Chads only.
But back on topic. So, and like with my mom, she's always like, I either catered to you or I just don't watch TV. Like, if I wanted if my mom was to just be recommending things all the time, it'd be books.
I would say my mom made. I kind of, like I said, I kind of feel bad because my house is run like a frat house. Like there's 3 dudes. And my mom, and so
same with my house.
Yeah,
except now we have a girl dog now.
You got a bitch? You got a bitch?
No, because she's not pregnant.
I guess we watched a lot of Harry Potter. My mom and I always watched Harry Potter. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think of stuff my mom. I mean, my dad made me watch a lot of stuff, but. I'm trying to think of what my mom. You go ahead.
Like I said, my mom just catered to what we wanted to watch. So like, probably like watching Cars for the 50th time.
Dude, I watched Dinosaur. Do you remember Dinosaur?
No, I remember like The Land Before Time.
No, there was this stupid. It was stupid and horrible movie, and I it was called Dinosaur. And it was supposed to be these live-action dinosaurs, and they would talk, but they were all CGI for 2003. It was terrible. I wore the tape out. I think I wore the tape out, in which my parents probably burned it. They burned the VHS.
We're sick of this shit.
Yeah. Oh God.
See now, I think the movie tape like we wore out would have been something like Hotel for Dogs. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Oh, I hated that movie. I hated that movie.
I guess we used to watch that one like religiously.
With Don Cheadle. Oh, I hate that movie.
Wait, Don Cheadle's in that movie?
I swear he is. If he's not,
I have
might
like
be mistaken.
no memory of that movie, but I know I watched it all the time. And then Thomas, like the
Thomas the Tank Engine. I had the movie with Alec Baldwin.
Like I was obsessed with Thomas the Tank
I
Engine.
loved it. Ironically, I love that movie because my dad works on trains, so I'd be like, "Do you ever get to work with Thomas?" I'm like, "What is it like?" I remember one time, I think I was like 5 or 6 or something like that. I was like, "Hey, what would it be like if you worked with Thomas?" I'm like, "What would happen?" He's like, "I'd probably tell that train to shut the fuck up." And I was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Whoa, what is there? Some sort of rivalry?"
Daddy, chill.
I'm like, "Hey," I'm like, "He said the F word. He said the F word, Mom." God, I remember that. He's like, "Right, tell that fucker to shut the fuck up." I'm like, "Okay."
Well, we're getting the explicit label on this one.
Yeah,
Thanks,
this is like
Gabe.
the 4th time in a row.
Thanks, Gabe.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
This was PG. At least PG-13 until you drop 4 F-bombs. Yep.
We could,
You only get one, you know that, right?
dude. I couldn't resist. That was an all-time quote. Cause I remember being like, "What?"
He said, "I swear."
Oh, my dad has a bit of a potty
Well,
mouth.
both of my parents do.
Oh, my
And
dad.
Mom and Dad don't deny it.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad would come up with some like creative ones, which we already got the explicit label. Like I remember watching him play Red Dead Redemption 2, and he's like, "Why can't I sell this for what I paid for it?" He's like, "This shopkeeper's a goddamn twat noodle." I'm like, "What is that? What is that?" You call people ass clowns. That was another one.
See, now, you know, I made my dad play over break.
What was that?
I made him play Skyrim.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Like, I was like, "You know what, Dad, you're playing Skyrim today." He's like, "I don't want to play that." It was really funny watching him play. Because, you know, it's like, you use the joysticks, you know, to walk and look around.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's like, you think, like, so I've been playing games like that for a while. Like, oh, yeah, it's easy. It's actually, like, pretty hard for people who haven't, like, played games like that before to, like, get it
with
down.
their thumbs, yeah.
So, like, I was getting nauseous watching my dad play it because he'd be, like, walking forward and then he'd just shoot to the left, completely stop on the
You
left.
turn down that sensitivity, man.
I did turn it down.
I can remember my dad loves to play video games even at 49. Like he loves to play. That was he playing the Hunter, Call of the Wild. I watch him play that all the time.
So yeah, my dad liked playing video games, but it was like we always play like Wii Sports, Mario Kart. I know he liked Mario Kart 64, but we just don't have it. We didn't have that, so we just play like Mario Kart and Wii.
My parents used to tell me that they had like the old N64 GoldenEye. They had GoldenEye. He's like, we were poor, so that's what we played. We only had GoldenEye. And I remember this is my dad was telling me, he's like, I was never more proud of your mom than it was my Uncle James, which is my mom's brother. And they had like this whole like league they would play GoldenEye in.
Yeah.
And he goes, I've never been more proud of your mom than when she figured out she could spawn trap them with mines. Because it was old. Like, there was no... Like, you could actively spawn trap them. She's like, we kicked their ass. He's like, I was never more proud of your mom. That was hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, oh, man. What do video games mean to you?
Oh, yo. I remember my first, like, actual, like, console... the Nintendo DS. And my parents, I remember, bought it for me. They're like, we bought you this for like car rides and stuff, you know, to keep you occupied instead of, you know, talking to us. You could just...
They're like, hey, shut the hell up and play your game, Preston.
Pretty much. So, like, I was obsessed with, like, Pokemon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I remember I got the cards, like, my dad would just tell me, like, we were talking about this the other day. He was like, whatever happened to those Pokemon cards I gave you? And it was like, I don't think they were like first edition, but like the second edition stuff, like the reprints of like the first edition, which is still pretty pricey stuff. And my dad's like, whatever happened to that? I'm like, I don't know. I just remember like I didn't know how to play the game. I didn't know how to play the like
You
card
just
game.
wanted
Pokemon.
the Pokemon.
I just collected all the Pokemon.
Yeah, you're right.
And it was, I was like, to be honest, they wouldn't be worth anything because like my dumb ass would just like throw them in my pocket and bring them to school. You know, trade with your friends.
Yeah.
You know, battle your friends, but not in the way it's meant to be played.
You're like, Charizard burns you. He's all dead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, my HP is higher than your HP, so I win.
True.
Just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, so they wouldn't be worth anything, but I'm like, where the hell did you get those? He's like, I don't know, for work, you know. A person was just like, hey, just take those cards. He said basically like, he's a cop, so, you know, he had to go to like someone's house for something.
Evidence locker and shit like that.
And like they were cleaning it out and they were getting prepared to leave and they were like, my dad's like, oh, what do you want with these? And he says, they're just like, I don't know, just take them. It's like, okay. Well, my kids might like it. Well, that's where the Pokemon obsession originated from, was my dad just goes like, here, have some of these cards. And it's like, oh my god, these are the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And that's when the Pokemon obsession kicked off. And yeah, so my first console was the Nintendo DS. Pokemon Heart Gold. Played the hell out of that game. Still play the game.
See, we were rich enough. No, I'm kidding you. We had, believe it or not, we had the PlayStation 2 when I was a kid. And we had the original Xbox. So my brother and I would play Halo all the time. That's the best, won't ever debate. Like, that is the best couch co-op ever. It's so fun. And then for the PlayStation 2, I remember playing the hell out of the Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh, we played that all the time.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was Grand Theft Auto with the Simpsons. That was that was the context of the game.
Yeah, and for us, it's like, we didn't get a PlayStation 2 till later.
Okay.
Like maybe when I was like 11, 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the PlayStation 3 was up. But yeah, we also had the Wii. We got the Wii pretty much like pretty close to when it came out. So, you know, we play like a lot of Mario Kart, a lot of like Wii Sports.
Okay.
We eventually got to the point to where we would beat my dad. We were able to beat my dad in some like Wii Sports games.
Really?
And like one thing I always remember was like when I got our PlayStation 2, because it's like, oh my god, this is like peak. This is peak gaming.
Peak fiction.
This was like 2010, 11. So I'm like playing like Madden 7, thinking it's like the pinnacle of gaming.
That's funny.
And it's like the games I always play on there: Madden 11, MVP Baseball 2004, or 2005 with Manny Ramirez on the cover. Yeah, that one was the best one. Great baller soundtrack. And then it was like the year after. And of course, it was the game that came out right after like the Red Sox beat the Yankees after coming back from 3-0. So like there was like the game was kind of like centered around that. So it was like peak. It was almost peak baseball in general.
You could argue,
like,
yeah.
Besides like the steroid like race, like the home run race.
Barry Bonds not in the Hall of Fame.
Besides that, like that's probably like the peak of baseball, because it's like the peak of like the Yankees Red Sox rivalry. You know, the Yankees the Red Sox breaking the curse.
Yeah.
You had all like those great players: Ortiz, Ramirez, Rodriguez, Jeter, and then Lendout or whatever his freaking name was, the Barry Bonds in there.
Oh yeah.
Because Barry Bonds wasn't part of the Players Association, so he wasn't allowed in the games. So they just make some generic character like Joe Random.
They're like Larry Lawns.
Who could hit like 450-foot nukes.
That's funny.
Then like Battlefront 2.
Yeah, that was goated.
Played that game all the time. Simpsons Hit and Run, played that all the time.
Dude, I remember when Battlefront 2 came out. I swear it came out before Revenge of the Sith, or like right at the same time.
Yeah. It'd have to be after. Because of they do the whole like raid on the temple and stuff.
Oh, true. I just remember, I remember playing with my dad the space battles when I was like 4 or 5. I remember my brother and I would do Conquest.
Yeah.
We would sit for hours and play that. And I'm like, I'd always want to be the clones. I'm like, the clones are the coolest guys in the goddamn biz.
No one wants to be the droids. Like my brother played as the droids, and it's like
I forget you have a brother. I really like honestly forget you have a brother sometimes.
It's like so like basically like gaming with my brother consisted of us playing Battlefront 2 in the basement.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, he'd always be the droids for some reason because he's weird. Like who wants to be the droids?
Dude, I hated playing as the goddamn rebels. I hated the rebels.
I actually didn't mind being the rebels.
I like the stormtroopers. I like the clones. Which, what does that have to say about me as a person? But yeah, my friend Lars, this summer we went up to his apartment, and he has Battlefront downloaded on his Xbox, on the brand new one. I don't know, I forget what it's called now, or the Xbox One, is it? No.
Xbox Series X.
Series X, whatever.
I don't know, they're so weird with their naming.
We got absolutely lambasted. I'll walk you through the evening. I think I drank about 18 cans of Busch Light that night, or Busch Red Apple, somewhere along those lines. Absolutely hammered. Do you know those Bluestone apartments in Duluth?
Yes.
We walked to the Qdoba.
Oh, jeez.
I was hammered. I was talking about the Han Dynasty of China. And then they're like, what do you want? I'm like, I think I would like beef. Like, just talking like that. We walked up, we watched Avatar, and then we started playing Battlefront 2. Just hammered. Absolutely just hammered. It was such a fun day. We went to the pool too, and I was drunk.
Oh, that's
We walked all the way down. My brother was there too. I was like dunking on him. I was like, throw me one. And I dunk on Caleb. It's so fun. I hope he hears that, because he knows exactly what I'm talking about too. We was out of pocket.
See, besides playing Battlefront 2, me and my brother, we'd also just play we just battle each other on Pokemon.
See, I didn't have Pokemon. Never had the Pokemans.
Loser. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was the real loser for not having Pokemon.
So yeah, it was basically Pokemon, Mario Kart, Wii Sports, Battlefront. Like, that's what me and my brother, I guess, always played.
See, we always had Halo, and we had an Xbox 360 when they came out. Santa got us that. And we were like, no way! And we believed it was Santa because we were too poor to afford an Xbox 360.
I can't remember if we got the Wii from Santa or my parents just got us it for Christmas. I can't remember.
It was probably Santa. He has his magic.
I think it was actually, we opened it on Christmas Eve with my parents. So I think it was a gift just from our parents, not from Santa.
I remember we got a couple games. I remember we had Halo 3. My brother and I would play my parents every day in Halo 3 multiplayer. Epitaph, that was the best one. Yeah, that was a game we played a lot.
Should we hop into some news?
Some news. What time are we at here even?
We're at about 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
We're pretty close.
We'll get about 15 minutes of news in.
So, Lucas Games announces some new titles. The new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel.
Gonna probably pre-order that.
It's gonna be goated. And then they got a first-person shooter. Boring. Like, it's just gonna be
It could be good.
Battlefront 3 again. Or we're getting Battlefront 3 finally.
It'd be kind of neat if they made, I don't know, like you could be a bounty hunter like that.
Oh, that would be so cool.
It's like they have that game.
You already know my opinion on that.
Yeah,
we talked about
Kilby and you all talked. We all talked about that.
And then a Star Wars strategy game.
I think that'll be good.
I will say, I'm just a little disappointed.
Where's
the open world Star Wars game?
They're going to take their sweet time with that.
Like,
I would prefer they take their time and make it good.
Make it a customizable character. You could be a bounty hunter, you could be a Jedi, you could be whatever the hell you want. You could travel around the galaxy, just be a man making his way across the galaxy, making his way in the galaxy.
I'm just a simple man trying to find his way in the universe.
Yeah, like, if you want to do that, make it to where, like, if you want to be a freaking, like, Mandalorian bounty hunter, you can be. If you want to be a Jedi bounty hunter, you can be. If you want to be just a Jedi fighting fools, you can. Like,
fighting fools.
That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
That is what everyone wants. Where is that? Where is something like that? Like, Jedi Fallen Order. Really looking forward to it. But the strategy and first-person shooter, it's like, just be the same old Star Wars game.
I think the strategy game, I'm not very good at strategy games, but my brother and my dad somehow, I guess, are like two of the greatest people I'd ever seen do it. Did you ever play the Civilization Revolution, Sid Meier's Civilization?
I have not.
Well, they only ever dropped one for the Xbox.
I think I know what game you're talking about, though. Because I think it's on PlayStation View at the moment. I think I actually have it downloaded.
Yeah, and you have, like, you could be the certain leaders, and they give you certain advantages.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you could play as Genghis Khan, and he gives you, like, every barbarian village you take over becomes a city. Anywho.
I don't think that's who I want to be role-playing.
Well, I'm just saying, like, those are, like, the leaders
I know
give you. Like, you have, like, Gandhi, but he can't ever go to war. He can't ever fight anyone, so he's kind of fucking useless. He's really useless.
Who wants to play a strategy game where you can't conquer people?
Yeah. And anywho, I remember, like, my brother is pretty good, but my dad, for whatever reason, is, like, a next level sort of guy. Because I remember this happened a few summers ago. My brother was talking so much shit to my dad that he's like, yeah, I'll kick your ass, whatever. So then they hop in this, like, one-on-one game. And my dad's like, you can be whoever you want. And I remember, like, he got, like, one of the worst ones. I think he got, like, Salahuddin. My dad got Salahuddin, and he let my brother pick whoever he wanted to be. And it wasn't like my brother was a kid. Like, my brother was 18, 19 at this time. My brother picked Caesar. And Caesar's, like, the culture for the Romans is always really good. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was over before, like, they got to the 2000s or something like that. I think it was over in, like, the 1500s. It was absolutely shocking.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm like, it was kind of funny. Because my brother, like, he'll go on, like, the Halo Wars online. He kicks the shit out of whoever he plays most of the time. But my dad, like, he threw him around, thrashed him. Didn't even stand a chance. It was hilarious.
Stop, he's already dead.
Stop, he's already dead.
All right, should we hop into some movie titles coming up?
Movie titles, let's do it.
Disney movies that have been announced.
Yay or nay?
Ice Age, Adventures of the Buck Wild.
Nay, not a fan of
really
Ice
care.
Age, no.
I haven't really cared about Ice Age since, like, 3 after 3, anything after
I watched The Meltdown, and then I'm like, hey, this should be over. As a kid, I'm like, this should be done.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We got Cheaper by the Dozen.
Nay.
Okay.
L.
Don't care.
That's an L. L plus ratio.
Then we got Death on the Nile.
Did you ever watch Murder on the Orient Express?
I haven't, but I want to. So I'm actually going to give this one a yay. Like, I actually...
Okay, it's good. I wouldn't say it's great.
It's a movie I definitely watch.
It's good. I don't mind it.
Sneakerella. A modern... I don't care.
No
one cares about another adaptation of Cinderella.
Oh my, hey, this is a story we've had maybe 8 times in my life. So, do you remember they made the one with James Corden and he was terrible, shockingly?
That's one person I can't stand.
Dude, I heard he's a terrible guy. He's terrible.
Oh, I heard he's a dick. And it's like, well, that's just another reason I don't like you. Like I don't know what it is about some TV hosts, but he's the worst of all of them.
He seems like he would be obnoxiously terrible as a person.
Yeah. Turning Red.
Oh, that's the one where she turns into, like, a red panda. I'm going to give that a yay. That looks good.
I don't know about anything about it, so I don't have a opinion on it. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yay times 1,000.
That's going to be a dub.
That's going to be a mind trip.
I think that's going to have some pretty big implications.
Yeah, like the name of the movie is The Multiverse of Madness. Like, that's
could be X-Men.
It's going to be mental. The Bob's Burgers movies. Don't care.
No, I'm sorry. That could be a dub. That could be good. If you ever watched the Simpsons movie, that was a movie I remember going to go see in the theater. Spider Pig. Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies I ever saw in the theater.
Lightyear. I'm going to go yay for this.
Nay, not interested, don't care.
I'm actually probably going to watch this.
Toy Story is just kind of meh to me.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's gonna be a yay.
Love Taika Waititi, so yeah, yay.
Yeah, it's good to see Thor again, I feel like, too.
Hocus Pocus 2.
Preston's mom gonna be smoking on that Hocus Pocus 2.
I'm gonna go with a yay. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Me too. I hope it's good. Hope it's not bad.
Pinocchio live action. Don't care.
Has Ewan McGregor in it, so yay.
Does it?
Does, so it has to be yay.
So all they have confirmed is I don't see anything about Ewan McGregor, but I do see Tom Hanks.
I swear he was in there.
And I do see Joseph Gordon-Levitt Hewitt. But then yet again, it's like, oh, Disney's doing their live action stuff again. Who cares?
Yep. Again, I'm like, I really like Ewan McGregor. I'm like, I will watch it just for you.
Yeah, and I'll probably watch it, but it's like, ooh, Robert Zemeckis is directing also.
Could be good, could be not good.
It's like...
It's going to be, like, like, on IMDb, like, just in my mind, I'm like, it's going to be 7.1. Like 7.2.
Yeah, people love it and people hate it because it's...
They're like, oh, it's like they're already retreading a story. Like, they're doing that so they can keep the rights, dumbass.
Yeah, pretty much. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'm going to be 100% honest.
Don't know. I'm so in the middle on that.
It's like, this is probably the movie I'm looking forward to the least. It's like, I loved the first Black Panther movie, but it's like, you're going to do a Black Panther movie without the Black Panther.
I think it's going to be...
so I'm intrigued at what they're going to do with it. And like I'm definitely going to go see it in theaters. But I don't know what I'm going to think of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of split on that one. I wouldn't say nay because Marvel movies are generally pretty good. Yeah, and I'm not going to give it a yay because I'm still conflicted on the whole Chadwick Boseman.
It's like, because in my opinion, they should just recast.
They should, and that's kind of the hard part.
It's like, yeah, it's a tragedy that he died and stuff. But you also got to do the story right.
Like, think of, like, Harry Potter. They had Richard Harris died as Dumbledore, and then they just recast him, and that was that. Because it's like, I don't want to see what they did with, like, Paul Walker and the Fast and the Furious, where they digitally... I think they took his brother.
Yeah, they took his brother, but then, like... computerized it and made it to where he looked like the actual Paul Walker, and it's like, that's weird. I'd lean more toward a recast, but I can understand what Disney's doing, with the whole we don't want to recast and dishonor a dead guy.
I'm like I said, I'm very split on the whole. thing.
I'm definitely split. Got Avatar 2.
Nope. Nay, I hate Avatar. Rewatched it, hate it.
Roderick Rules animated. Don't care.
L.
The live action movie. Actually kind of still like it.
Don't call me. Don't come to my house. We're done.
I actually like the Dire Movie Kid live action movies. Except that one weird one.
I watched the first one and I didn't like
First
it.
One's like, The second one, actually kind of funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll have to give it another try.
The Marvels. Very much looking forward to this.
Not so much.
I am. It's like Captain Marvel. You're going to have Miss Marvel. Like, it's definitely not like, I'm not looking forward to it as much as like Thor Love and Thunder or Doctor Strange. But I'm looking forward to it.
It's a filler piece that they'll have. It was kind of the same thing with Eternals, that they needed something.
The Little Mermaid, don't care. Just another reason.
I like The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I like the live.
I think she's
I like the
black.
Yeah, it's Halle Berry.
No, it's not Halle Berry. Is it? Give me that.
According to this.
No, I swear it was like this chick from the show I watched called Grownish.
They say, according to Rotten Tomatoes, this Rotten Tomatoes article, it's Halle Berry will play Ariel.
No.
Aquafina will play Scuttle. What the frick, Scuttle? I forgot who that was.
I think he was the seagull. He was the bird. I think.
I'm going to be honest, don't care.
No, I thought it was some other chick. Halle Berry's too old to be Ariel. I'm sorry.
Halle Bailey, not Berry.
Okay, well then I was right then, you bastard.
I read it wrong.
You made me look like an idiot.
Okay, they're very close, name-wise.
No, she's on this. She has a twin.
I know who it is. Like, she's like the singer.
She's actually kind of pretty. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? It's Halle Berry. I'm like, I swear this is. I'm like, you're wrong.
I just read it wrong. But it's like, I don't care. It's like, I'd rather just watch the animated one.
I'm gonna give that a yay.
Under the Sea.
Under the Sea.
An untitled Indiana Jones film.
Dub.
Yay.
Dude.
Yay times 1,000.
Do you think that'll be in the summer?
They say the release date is right now is June 30th, 2023. Or something kind of around that. It's definitely going to be a summer blockbuster. Like, it'd be foolish to not release it in the summer.
Oh, if that... That's a movie I'll go see on opening day.
Ooh, did you see who's directing it?
No.
James Mangold.
Oh, okay. It'll be in the style of Logan. Like, watch the box office explode.
Yeah, it's like, so you're getting the guy who did Ford versus Ferrari and Logan to do this. I think it will be good. Dude, because I know that they're actually like trying for this movie because they've done like 15 rewrites of the script trying to get it right.
James Mangold is kind of a walking dub. I was gonna watch this one movie called Girl Interrupted, which I will probably at some point. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Like, and I see Mads Mikkelsen's gonna be on it, and it's like, okay,
he could be a good villain.
He's definitely playing a villain, and I'm definitely intrigued. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, big dub right here.
I'm not so high on
I
Ant-Man.
think they're setting up.
It's okay.
I think they're setting up the Fantastic Four. And it's like,
could be, could not be.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Out of all the movies you make,
Schmeh.
Out of all the movies you make, this is the one you make.
They need to make a good movie. They just need one just to show that they can.
It's like,
because the shows are one thing.
Kind of like my opinion's kind of shifted on Patty Jenkins.
After
that, I love the first Wonder Woman. The
second one blows.
Was so bad.
Did you watch the second one on HBO?
I watched it earlier than that.
It was just okay.
It's not good.
No.
It's like, so now I'm kind of indifferent. And it's like fighter pilots, like a group of fighter pilots. Like, you could easily just make this a TV show instead of a movie.
They're like, here's Top Gun, but Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's probably what it's going to be.
And it's like, this is more of a TV show to me. It's like you're doing Rogue Squadron over before Knights of the Old Republic.
Hey man, there's people getting paid a lot of money to make those decisions.
And then I think that's what we're gonna go on. Actually, we're gonna end off on the Fantastic Four, which doesn't have a date yet or anything.
It's just something.
They just confirmed that's being made and that John Watts is directing it. And I'm saying big yay. Like,
all right, Fantastic Four to me is just okay, but
my thing is the comics are great. It's just that we haven't had any good movies, so I'm kind of excited for them to like maybe be good for a chance.
For hopefully, cross your fingers, right?
All right, was there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
I was just gonna say, I'm like, here's a movie I watched that I recommend. I watched Midnight in Paris with Owen Wilson, Amy Adams, and the premise is that it's this writer and he's in Paris, and every night at midnight he comes across like Gertrude Stein, Salvador Dali, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Pablo Picasso. It was really good. I highly recommend watching it.
And I think my recommendation, I don't know if I've recommended it before, but I'm just going to say Ted Lasso on Apple TV.
We love Ted Lasso.
All my homies love Ted Lasso.
Dude,
it's a great premise, an American football coach becoming a European football coach.
I have to say, I love the first season. The second season's even better.
Oh, I love the second season. It's like...
The doctor, she's so cool.
And
I forget what her name is. Nathan.
I hate Nathan now.
All my homies hate Nathan.
But, like, it's a great storyline. Like, of course, you're going to give a guy who's never gotten anything, but who's never had anything like that before, he's going to let it go to his head.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is. Like, a guy who's had nothing, who's suddenly given something, is going to go on a power trip.
Yep. And the other thing about that is, one thing I really love about Ted Lasso is that it can make you laugh, and it can also make you cry.
Yes. Yeah. And plus, like, Jason Sudeikis in it, it's just...
He's a dub. He's a walking dub.
And you know what I didn't realize? When I was rewatching The Mandalorian, and you remember those stormtroopers?
Yeah, he's in there.
It was
Yeah.
sitting on the speeders, shooting at the can and missing, and then
They punch Baby Yoda. Yeah.
One of them is Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't.
I remember hearing that. I remember hearing about that, yeah.
It's like, so when I rewatched that episode, I'm like, yeah, I can hear it now.
Yeah.
It's like, Jason Sudeikis, I hate you for punching Baby Yoda in that instance, but I love you for Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, Caesar, you later. And he jumps through the door and he goes, yes. Yeah.
All right, so everyone, we encourage you to, like us on, or follow us on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a rating on Spotify. I just found that out that's a thing.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So we're sitting at 5 stars because, I had to go in there and give ourselves a 5-star rating.
You don't want to know the things I had to do to get us a 5-star rating.
I had to open the app and then hit rating and hit 5 stars. But yeah. So, yeah, like I said, follow us on Spotify. Give us a like. Give us a nice rating. Share this with all your friends. Help us expand. Manifest destiny in the podcast world.
Fate wills it so.
So you want to say any last words before signing off?
Good night and good luck.